Yeah, transition's really tough. One of the toughest parts about football. I think it makes the transition a little bit easier when your head coach is still here. When you got some familiar faces on the staff, also on our side of the ball too. But one thing I give those guys a lot of credit is they're a tight knit group overall, and they've done a really good job as far as their attitude on a daily basis. So I give them a credit. I think a lot of it is due to how close they are as friends off the field.
Did you see any sluggishness in that very first practice, or were they hit the ground running?
I thought they did pretty well, honestly. I thought they came out the gates pretty well. Like I said, it's always a little bit of a shock to the system to start out with, but I thought they did a pretty good job coming out and working during the bye week especially.
So obviously, the defense as a group has grown quite a bit over the years. I mean, is there any danger in having all of this change? There's still 2 games on the schedule, or do you sense that your guys are locked in and trying to get a couple?
I think they're pretty dang locked in all honesty. I think, like I said, I think they know what's at stake. These are both teams in our side of the division that, that we got a lot of respect for. At the same time, they're huge games for us. And those guys are always highlighting these games to start the year. You're always ready to play Wisconsin. You're always ready to play Iowa. So it's a great way to refocus yourself after a little bit of change, playing 2 teams like this to finish the year off.
What is it about that? Obviously, the freshman running back in Wisconsin sort of come on as the season's gone along. What does he do well? What have you made of him so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 17-year-old kid, number one. It's pretty impressive. A guy who should be in high school right now is really playing well. He's playing his best football right now. Big, strong back. Honestly, he's kind of in the tradition of Wisconsin backs. He's probably a little bit bigger than Jonathan Taylor was, maybe not quite as explosive as he was, but really tough, really physical, runs behind his pads. Really a good player who's playing his best football right now.
How does the loss, I know it's outside backer, but how does the loss of Doman shift sort of what you got to do these last 2 games?
I don't know if it shifts anything, but at the same time, when you lose a really good football player, it's a next man up mentality. And I think it's on everybody to detail their work week in and week out. I don't think he really changed that much. Joe was a unique player. I think he was a really talented player, but at the same time, you got to play your stuff. You got to play your system.
You have Nathan Luke, who are coming for some records that haven't been broken since you played here. What is that like for you as a coach? One, getting to coach them through that, but then also know just what the success that they've had so far this season.
Yeah, they've done a good job. They've put the work in. I think that's the biggest thing is, as a coach, all you can ask for is that, Sunday through Saturday morning before the game starts, they're doing everything that you ask them to do, and then you hope those habits just carry over during the game. And I think they've had some success on the field because they've really worked hard during the week. They got a good routine. They stick to it. They're into football. They're positive. So the day-to-day for them has been really good.
Is it surreal for you, though, too, to see their tackles stacking up every week and kind of think hey, like I said, you had some of those records here too.
If somebody breaks a bunch of records of mine, I hope it's the guys I'm coaching. So, no, I think, hey, they're playing hard. And I think the good thing about them is they don't care if they get 15 tackles or 4 tackles. They're about the team and they're about the work. And like I said, they're doing a great job on a day-to-day basis, which makes it really fun for me as a coach.
You obviously know Isaac pretty well, and we'll see how much playing time he gets over the last couple games. What has he done sort of since he's been here to put himself in position to get on the field and be on the top line?
Yeah, I mean, I think he came here really understanding how to work. I mean, I think a lot of that's a tribute to his family. Obviously his brother played here. His brother's still a really good player for the Cowboys. So he understood how to work, and he approaches it really, really well every day. He doesn't have those up and down moments that a lot of young guys do. He's really consistent, and that's the mark of a guy who gets it is they're really consistent.
Luke and Nick, have you seen them progress as past defenders this year?
Past offenders?
Yeah.
I think it just comes from experience, understanding your own problems. The better you know your defense, and honestly, a little bit of it is, I like to call it learning through the burn. When you're out there in game action, if you make a mistake, usually you don't make the same mistake twice. And they've done a really good job of that where they've had their mistakes or whatever, but it doesn't happen again. They get it corrected, and the best way to learn your own problems is to do it when it's live out there. And so I think they've done a really nice job of not only understand their own job, but understand the issues that come with each coverage.
What's part of their game that you think they can still improve on?
Oh, they can improve on a lot, and that's going to be a big focus of mine is improving on a lot of things. I think being physical, taking on blocks, open field tackling, pass rushing. We got a lot of stuff we got to work on, but the part that I think is really good on their end is, like I said, their intent on a day-to-day basis and how much they want to learn and get better. They're big on that. They're football guys, so they want to learn, they want to get coached, and they're continually trying to find ways to get better.
Take Ohio State, right, and the conflict that they put offenses in, RPO and all of that. Is the conflict that an offense like Wisconsin puts you in terms of running a lot and then the hard play action, like, is it different, or conceptually for your guys, is it similar in handling?
No, it's a little bit different in regards to, like, for example, Ohio State, they had some conflicts in the RPOs and certain looks and certain plays, but they were pretty much an 11 personnel team. They would sprinkle in, 10, 15 snaps of 12, whereas Wisconsin, you'll get 21, you'll get 22, you'll get 12, you'll get 11. They run a lot of similar concepts, but they're very game plan specific, and they do a good job of attacking you based on formation and personnel groupings. So it's different in regards to you got to be able to play a lot of different calls against them and be able to fit up a lot of different runs within those calls.
Coach Vander just got put on the Heisman nominee list. I mean, can you just speak to him and what he's been able to do this season and sort of, obviously the defense is playing one of its best seasons, so can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think it's very well deserved. I think, I think the best way I can describe football in general, whether it's a good coach or a good player, is consistency. He's extremely consistent. I think his defense is a product of that. We've been pretty consistent on defense this side of the year, and he's the coordinator, and so he's been a huge part of that. So the way he approaches work on a daily basis in all facets, whether it's game planning, whether it's interacting with players, whether it's recruiting, just extremely consistent, and that's why he's getting recognized, which is very deserving too.
Sorry if you've been asked this already. We've got high school state championships coming up. So, how much of that of the season have you been able to see so far this year, and how exciting is it for this time of year?
Yeah, it is exciting. It's great now that different than when I was coming up is, on your phone you got access to a lot of stuff, and you can stream some games and you can get updates on games. So whether it's Friday night at the hotel on the road or Friday night at home when I'm just sitting down on my couch, I got instant access to all that stuff, and that's really been good. And just like you said, getting to come to Memorial Stadium and playing state championship games, that's a really exciting time for high school guys. And I'm all the teams that made it here. It was well deserved, and I'm excited to be able to check some of those games out.
Obviously, coaches and players in this area, they know Scott. They have an idea of what's going on around here. Is there anything, like, do you have to take it? Is there any extra work to do on the in-state scene, just given the change, and how has that looked over the last?
I think the biggest thing is just you try to be very open with your communication. You want the guys that you're talking to on the regular to know what's going on, to know coach's vision, and to know that they're a huge part of it. And what I kind of told them is, hey, when I find out what's going to be the next move, they're gonna know pretty much after our guys know. So I think that's the biggest thing is you just continually being open on what's going on, and you're continually talking to your targets, and I think all those guys have a really good feel for how important they are to our program. Okay, thanks.